All right, Pisces Ascendant, Pisces Rising, how are you? It's good to be here with you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're finding ways to stay calm, to stay collected, to be the cool cucumber, to be connected, right? We're going to take a look at your full moon. Full moon in May is on the 7th, okay? If you see this video after that, that's okay. All you're going to do is listen to where this was occurring in your life. How were you being affected or not affected? Or how people in your life were being affected or not affected. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about the meaning of this full moon and why once a year it's extremely special. We're going to talk about Buddha, the Ascended Master, and what his whole connection is to this once a year, every first full moon in May, okay? And how it ties into the little people, to us, and what it has to do with, well, our lives. We're also going to talk about all the other things that are happening in May. We have Venus retrograde, Saturn retrograde, Jupiter retrograde. All of this is occurring like back to back, okay? Now, Pluto just went retrograde at the butt end of April. And we also are going to be talking about the north nodes. I'm thinking of doing a separate video just for that, but I will touch in on that and tell you where it's happening in your life. And this is a big deal because the north node is going to be in the new sign. It's actually already there. It's in Gemini, but it's going to be in Gemini for the next 18 months. Now, the north node is where we're headed. It is without a doubt something you will recognize in your life. You cannot avoid it. Remember, the nodes are where the eclipses occur, okay? The eclipses, the current sun, the current moon, the nodal axis point, okay? This is where things occur. It's not a matter of, is it going to happen? Is this going to happen? It's going to happen. So understanding more about the north node in Gemini and where that is in your life exactly, this will help you to understand what it is that you're going to be facing and dealing with in the next 18 months. And having this understanding will help you to know, it's like before you dive in the pool, you want to stick your toe in the water to figure out, okay, what the temperature is. You kind of want to have an idea. You want to have a heads up, right? You want to have a map before you go somewhere. You want to know how to get there and how to navigate, right? The terrain. Are you going to need to have pit stops? Is it going to be hilly? You're going to need to know all this stuff. Is there rest stops along the way? This is what this is. It is how to navigate the waters of life. So Pisces Ascendant, Pisces Rising, join me on your journey to jump into your all astrology. All right, so the moon, the full moon, it's at 1720 in Scorpio, and the sun is at 1720 in Taurus. All you got to do is find out where is your Scorpio energy and where is your Taurus energy. And this will tell you what was being lit up at this time. Now, this energy is a major release. Scorpio energy is ruled by Pluto. Pluto is our past. It is our soul power. Now, if I take a look at your chart, we're looking at your Scorpio energy happening in your 9th house. The 9th house is your beliefs. The 9th house is your higher learning. The 9th house is long distance journeys. It's foreigners, foreign countries. The 9th house is my philosophy on life. Okay, the 9th house is your freedom, is your idea of looking ahead with your future. So having Scorpio there means you have fixed emotions about that. Now, you may have to reevaluate these things because there may be things from your past. And when I say past, Scorpio energy, because it's Pluto as its ruler, when we talk about past, it doesn't have to necessarily be past from this life, but multiple lives. This is soul energy. And soul energy, it carries memory. Okay? It's not the same as our personality's memory. It carries soul experiences. And it asks the personality to be able to deal with them in its current life, with its current setup, with its current recipe of who you are, right? Like me, I'm G, this is my personality for this life. So I have experiences that my soul has brought with me. Now, the soul doesn't have an attachment to these things, but it's the personality because it recognizes the experience, it recognizes the memory, and it says, okay, but this is how this is supposed to be. Well, the whole goal with this Scorpio full moon, and I'm going to talk about Buddha right now, because when we think of Scorpio energy, It's fixed water. Water is emotions, all right? So we have fixed emotions. Your Pisces ascendant, fixed emotions, ninth house. This is my beliefs about something. This is your philosophy on life. This is a very deeply spiritual house, okay? People kill for their beliefs, right? People defend their beliefs to the death. And having fixed water and having Pluto as the ruler there means this is something you would be willing to fight for. You won't back down from. Pluto does not back down from a fight, okay? But recognizing you might be fighting for something that doesn't really exist in this lifetime. And you may not, you are aware of it because it's something you likely hidden and you don't want somebody else to know. Scorpio energy, it is hidden, it's below the surface and it's deep, and we keep it private. We keep it private because there's a fear connected to it. There's a fear, there's a vulnerability, all right? This is my belief, but if I completely share that belief with you and it doesn't line up with what you believe, there's a fear of rejection, a fear of you will no longer accept me for this because I have this belief. You know, Scorpio energies are merged energies where we bond with somebody based on our beliefs. That's this, Scorpio in the ninth house. You bond with someone because of your beliefs. So similar past life experiences, similar beliefs. This is going to be points of where you had recognition and understanding with other souls and where you paired up. The testing comes in if you look at your chart and you see in the other fixed signs that you have planets that were squaring this degree, 1720. So remember, this means you've got the moon at 1720 and the sun at 1720. Okay, now squaring up with that would be Leo energy, because that's your other fixed energy, and Aquarius energy. If you have something squaring, your Leo energy is going to be in your sixth house. Okay, sixth house is work. So this could be coworkers, this could be work routines, all right? This could be, because work is part of your daily routine, there could be something going on there that squares this belief and vice versa, right? You've got your beliefs, your fixed beliefs in your ninths about what your work should be. Now your other square is going to come from your Aquarius energy, and that would typically be in your 12th house. Now this is the tricky one, okay? If there's something really difficult occurring right now in your life, chances are you have something in that 12th house. Because the 12th house is our subconscious. So if you've got something, if you've got a planet there, remember it's going to be around 17 degrees in 20 minutes, all right? That's what's going to send an extreme square to this moon. And if it's sending a square to the moon, it's squaring the sun because we've got them both at 1720. 1720 Taurus, 1720 Scorpio. Now the 12th house, if you've got something squaring and it's subconscious, then how the heck are you supposed to know about it? Right? It's below your consciousness. You're not aware of it. Recognizing Aquarian energy also can be people who are authoritative figures in your life, but that you personally don't know. So these can be people who kind of creep out of the woodwork. Somehow there's a restriction. There's like a rule because Saturn is typically a co-ruler of Aquarian energy, not just Uranus. Saturn is too. And this is important to know because Saturn is in Aquarius right now. Okay, Saturn's at 157 and is going to go retrograde. But before the retrograde begins, it stands still. So there's a lot to talk about. And I'm just going to go ahead and stick with Saturn. Okay, so when we think about Saturn energy, there's an authoritative person that you personally probably don't know, that you're not connected to. So this could be somebody that your spouse is connected to or that a friend is connected to. There's somebody that where you work, there's like somebody else's boss, right? But somehow through somebody you know and that they know that they know that they know. One of those things where you don't even know that person, but because there's this link, there's this network that goes on, you're affected in some way. Hidden people, right? People that you don't know who they are, but because they have their own ideas and their own rules and they have a position of authority, it's affecting your life. And this is only if you're going through tough times right now, okay? You would know. You would be like, oh, shit, that's that. Yeah, that's that, okay? Now, if you are confused by anything, just comment your birth digits below, and I'd be more than happy to check that out for you to see, to try to add clarity to the confusion if you're experiencing that. Now, the full moon, I have to bring that back in with this because it's based upon our fixed ideas and our attachments to something, to someone, to the way things were, to your beliefs. Your beliefs right? Your religion, your philosophy, your spirituality. This is that ninth house stuff, fixed emotions on that. Now, the full moon being a culmination and a closure will put a light on something. It will help you to see and to better understand what it was. Now, the ninth house is also my long distance journeys, all right? And so there might be a release on something in regards to that. Like I said, that bonded belief, how we share energy with others who are far away from us, okay? Because this is what that is too. The others who live in other countries, all right? It's the house of the foreigner. But don't forget, it's also the house of your future. That's the Sagittarius rules that ninth house, and it's a very wise house. So having Scorpio there means that you have below the surface knowledge, very wise below the surface knowledge, which is fantastic. But there is something there that is fixated, right? It's tied to an emotion, and that becomes a ball and chain and holds us back. And we are vulnerable, right? We are maybe embarrassed and we don't want to own it, but we're ready to release it. And this full moon will help you do the releasing. Buddha will be coming down and emanating and radiating frequencies, high frequencies that assist in releasing. And this will be a release that is permanent. Okay, so for many people, I'm getting lots of responses back who want to be included on the full moon ceremony, which I'm doing actually on the 7th tomorrow. And they have, like, you know, just some really beautiful things that they acknowledge in their life that have been the ball and chain, right? That have been the roadblock to them growing and progressing forward, especially in bonded relationships. Because this is what Scorpio energy is. It's how I merge with somebody else. This is married people, you know, people who bond. And it doesn't have to be just marriage partners, though. Okay, this can be business partners. This can just be anybody that you are really, really emotionally bonded to. Okay, because there's this past life connection, whether you know it or not, whether you're aware of the past life connection, it's there. Now, let's get to Saturn, okay, by the 10th. Actually, by the time of the full moon, Saturn is going very slow, because before the planets go backwards, they slow down. All right, before they stand still, they slow down. And when they're moving slow, they become very strong. So there's restrictions and new rules occurring in terms of groups and people. Now, this isn't going to be sitting in your Aquarian energy for super long. It's going to float back into your Capricorn energy. All right, so your Aquarian energy, again, is in your 12th. But when we talk about your Capricorn energy, you want to check your chart, check the degrees. 29 degrees Capricorn, this will occur on the butt end of June, okay? So when that happens, you're going to know, because Saturn's going to change. She's going to leave Aquarius and go into Capricorn. And so that means that where Saturn is putting down rules is going to change. It's going to be rules with the people, Aquarius, floating into rules and regulations with business and structure and government. But big business, big structures, big government. Saturn's going to be going back there at the end of June. So June's going to be a fascinating month, as will July, because in June there is also Jupiter and Pluto pairing up in June, like mid-June, June 11th, June 12th, which means transformational change again. There's also, those are days after an eclipse, June 5th eclipse. I'll do a separate video for that. But knowing where your Capricorn energy is, you know, this is your 11th house. This is your groups. This is your social circles, okay? Understanding your 11th house is internet as well. But it's how you do business with groups, okay? And you'll have new sets of rules there. And this all makes sense after, you know, or still living through the COVID-19 pandemic stuff. Understanding that how we relate to people, how we work in groups or not anymore, the new restrictions within the groups. How can we do business where groups have to be, where groups were part of our life, right? Think about that. Think about the sports arenas, right? Think about, we'll see. This should be just, wow, what a learning experience this is going to be. So that takes me to my next topic, which is Venus going retrograde. Venus goes retrograde on the 13th of May. So this is, you know, right after Saturn going retrograde. Venus is like at 21 degrees, and she goes all the way back to 5 degrees Gemini. All right, so where's your Gemini energy? You're going to need to know this, because Venus is all about what I value. It's my money, it's my love, it is my resources. Okay, so we can't forget self-love, self-recognition, and what we are, how we are valuable as individuals. So your Gemini energy is in your 4th house. This is at home. This is at home. The beauty is you're flexible at home because you have Gemini energy there. This is where you're going to be focusing the next 18 months of your life, is what you value, what you need to feel at home. What does a home have to have in it to be home? This is going to be important. You're reevaluating that. All of the planets, when they retrograde, we take their energy and we internalize them. We reevaluate those areas of our lives. Venus is my money and my values, what's important to me. It's in Gemini. Gemini is talking, thinking, speaking, communicating, relating, siblings, children. Because when we're young, we're small, we're like in primary school. But it's learning, our willingness to be adaptable, to learn, but at the same time to be the teacher. Be both and you're going to go far with this energy, okay? Gemini energy is also about my local area, my community. You know, not just my neighbors, but people within my community. You know, small journeys and distances to my town, maybe the next town, but locally, right? Maybe walking, right? Doing stuff that's crafty, stuff with my hands and fingers. Gemini loves to talk and communicate. Gemini is very clever, all right? So with Venus there, it puts an emphasis, because Gemini is business and trade. It's information, right? It's social media. Gemini is social media, communication. Having Venus there is all about taking an idea of money and values and resources and being able to take it online. Gemini is sales. This is in your 4th house. Are you going to be doing this kind of stuff from home? You would do well with it because you've got Gemini there. You've maybe never thought about it before, but there might be something for the next 18 months that you may be changing. And it may, remember, because Gemini energy is very flexible, it is asking us. It's the North Node. It's not just Venus. Venus is going to leave the sign of Gemini by August. But the North Node will be in Gemini for 18 more months, right? This means the rest of 2020 and all of 2021. So get used to it is what that means. Now follow the nodes. The nodes go backwards, right? They're at 2946 on the 7th of May, or the 13th, I should say, of May. The nodes go pretty slow, right? It'll take it all that time to get through this sign. So realizing that if you have a chart where your Gemini energy expands into another area of your life, like I do, my Gemini spreads across 2 of my houses. And so knowing that tells me, okay, it's going to spend half of its time in this area of my life and then the other half in this other area. And that's good to know, because then when the nodes move through those degrees, I will see those changes. There'll be different areas of my life that change as well. Now, we're also going to be talking about Jupiter retrograde. Jupiter on the 14th of May slows down, stands still, okay? Jupiter's Capricorn range is 17 to 27 degrees Capricorn. So you need to find the Capricorn area of your life. I started talking about it earlier. It's your 11th house energy. Your 11th house, there's going to be so many planets there again, all right? We're going to feel a concentration of Earth. When we had all this energy in Capricorn, I felt extremely heavy. Capricorn is very serious. It represents responsibilities, all right? I don't know how to explain it. It just felt so restrictive, and Saturn being the ruler of Capricorn, and I think of all the keywords for Capricorn, it makes sense. But I've never felt so unlike me with all those planets in Capricorn. It was so opposite of who I am, which is so weird because I have a lot of Earth in my chart, but it was like I lost so much of my optimism and my freedom of thought. I felt very limited. I felt locked in. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really looking forward to it, but I'm optimistic because so much has changed that the other planets and their movements means that even though we're going back to having Jupiter and Pluto and Saturn in Capricorn again, the setup is completely different than it was before. So I'm optimistic because I do know that we'll have Mars in June transiting through Pisces, which I want you to be aware of. I really want you to be aware of. I want you to look at your chart. Follow Mars. Mars is, when it goes through Pisces, Pisces is mutable. Remember that Gemini is also mutable. And for everybody, whether you have a planet in Gemini or not, doesn't matter, because we're all going to have Venus in Gemini until August. And we're going to have the North Node in Gemini for the next 18 months. So when Mars transits through Pisces, we all will automatically have Mars, which is malefic, which means it can be very uncomfortable, very abrasive energy. It can sometimes, let's be real, Mars is our physical body. And when it gets into Pisces, it weakens our body. Our resistance is low. Mars represents cuts and inflammation, infections. That's what Mars represents. I know this doesn't sound good, but you should know this in advance. And so when it squares Gemini energy, Gemini is my lungs, my breathing, my ability to talk, my ability to think and communicate. So we will have challenges, okay? We will have challenges. And if you have natal planets in Gemini, if you have planets in Gemini or Sagittarian energy, that is going to be squared by Mars, okay? So the only time it's going to be a major deal would be that if you have natal planets, okay? The transits are not going to be extremely serious. They're more of testing and an uncomfortableness. But when we have natal planets, in addition to the transits, in the squares and in the T-square that creates, that is when you would want to prepare. That is when you understand, okay, this is going to be a rough ride. I need to make sure I set up a support group. If you have children, make sure that, you're thinking in advance. Like, okay, this might be rough for me personally, so I need to contact other people. I might need support, whether it's your church or family members, whatever it is. You just want to prepare. It doesn't mean prepare for death. I'm just saying prepare for hard times. And if you don't know and you want clarification, because this isn't about trying to be fearful, it's about, being smart and planning, navigating these waters strategically. Just comment your birth stuff, and I'll just be honest with you. I'll be straightforward with you, and I'll let you know what you need to know. Okay, so lastly, we are going to be emphasizing this North Node in Gemini stuff. Spending 18 months there in the home, your fourth house, it's asking you to definitely be flexible, to be mutable, to remember to, along with being the teacher, never forget that you're the student. All right? If you hold on to that and always be open to learning and being, being able to consider other options, you're going to do well. You're going to go far with this energy, because 18 months going through your fourth home means you may be moving. All right? This is, we have the nodes there, which means we have the eclipses there. So you would want to look in your chart, see if you have anything at 15 degrees in either Gemini or in Sagittarian energy, because of the fact that that is the first eclipse in June. It is 15 degrees of Sagittarius. So eclipse energy runs along the axis. So whether it's the 15 degrees in Sag or the 15 degrees in Gemini, that'll let you know. Okay, if you have something that matches it exactly, you're moving. I'm just going to say it straight. When eclipse energy lines up, it happens. It's not a matter of, is it going to occur? It's going to occur. And just keep in mind, Sagittarian energy is about our future, all right? And it also has to do with what we're letting go of. So knowing if your planet, whatever it might be, or a significant point lines up there, the South Node is what you're letting go and releasing. The North Node is where you're headed. It's your future. And the South Node's in the Sagittarian energy for 2020. All right? And part of 2021. And of course, the North Node's in Gemini. All right, Pisces Ascendant, Pisces Rising. If you have any questions, don't forget, comment below. And I hope this has put some light upon your path. And let me know how you're doing. I would love to hear from you. Bye.